Our next guest is a multi-award-winning actress with stellar performances on stage and film. To name a few of her many stage productions, we have A Midsummer Night's Dream, Into the Woods, Much Ado About Nothing, Hamlet, The Wiz, I know you never heard of it, The Odyssey, Romeo and Juliet, As You Like It, Macbeth, and many, many more. We just missed the 10-year anniversary of her first feature film role in 2011's Stuck Between Stations with Zoe Lister-Jones. And she most recently starred as Danielle Harrington in The Reason We Are Here, Candyman.
Hold on 1 second, because
I know where you're going with that. Yeah, I did that to you. I know you know what The Wiz is.
I know you know what The Wiz is. Get on down the road.
I know you know what The Wiz is.
Okay. Thank you.
Jeez,
you insult me. I mean, I don't know.
I didn't insult your intelligence, just your character.
My dedication to Michael Jackson is
there. You go.
Christiana Clark, I'm sorry for that outburst. Thank you very much for being here today.
I'm so glad to be here, y'all. This is already fun.
All right. With over 20 credits on stage and in film since 2010, it seems like you hit the ground running and never looked back. When did you know that acting was something that you wanted to pursue? And was there something in particular, or a movie or event that inspired you?
Okay. One, I appreciate you all for counting things. I never do count. I'm like, I don't know. I've done a couple of things here. I've done a couple of things there. And then it's doing things like this where you go, oh, yeah. I've been doing some things. I have always wanted to act. I grew up in Chicago, and I'm now back in Chicago. And I love this city. And I grew up in a multi-generational house. So it was me and my 3 other siblings, my parents, my mom's twin sister, and my grandparents all in one house. And the kids, and this is a long story because it gets to me acting. The kids, all of us, we lived in the basement. Now, it was a finished basement, like there was a floor. It wasn't like rats and things, but we didn't have rooms. So we were just all out and like, it was like our dressers and beds and then the TV and toys. And I've always been a night owl. So like my dad or mom would come downstairs, put us to bed, and then would head on up and I'd act like I was asleep. And then I'd wait a little bit and I'd get up and like play with toys and then watch TV. Nick at Night was starting when I was young. So I came up watching like the black and white comedies of like the 50s and 60s. And my number one was I Love Lucy. I wanted to be Lucille Ball. Sometimes I feel like my hair is a little bit of
little Lucy. I can see a little Lucy.
A little Lucy. So that I wanted to do that. I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be funny. I wanted to wear glamorous clothes and stuff like that. And then when I grew up in church, there was always like an Easter musical or a Christmas cantata or something like that. So I would do the little plays at church. And then at school, there was a speech meet competition that my 5th grade teacher encouraged me to participate in. And there was a poem called The Touch of the Master's Hand. And I won't go into it now, but every family gathering, every funeral,
Tell her to do the little thing, the little speech.
Yeah, baby, go. I did it for my grandmother's funeral. And I also, did it for our 8th grade graduation. And I just saw an elementary school friend who I haven't seen in years. And they were like, oh yeah, you're in Candyman. You know what I remember?
Right. Oh my gosh.
So I mean, that's what the people want. So from small, I wanted to do it because of what I saw from the outside on TV, and then what I felt when I was performing. Just it felt right, and I felt good to make people laugh or make people moved, emotionally. But as far as like it being an actual career and a thing to do, I didn't know anybody that was actually professionally doing anything within this world. So it was always like, yeah, I would love to. I don't know how to do that. So I'm gonna start doing the things that I think I'm supposed to do, which for me, like I told you, I grew up in church. I have an older brother, sister that went off to Bible college, and my sister is a pastor. So I was gonna do that. I was like, I'll be the drama pastor, and I'll be the one who puts on the Easter musicals and whatnot. But then after a year of doing a hands-on ministry training program, we could talk for a long time about a lot of things that have happened in my life, the things that I've done and who I am now, and good things like that. But after a year of that, I was like, oh no, I just want to act.
Right.
Then I found an acting school. And now here we are with 20 plus credits.
I was going to ask about that because I was going to ask for the aspiring actors out there, especially young female women. Could you talk about what the journey was like from the decision saying, hey, I'm an actress now, I'm an actor, to actually acting? Like one day people say, I'm going to do this. This is what I am. And then 45 auditions later, you're like, I think I'm doing this. I think I am. So could you talk about the journey and when you actually started doing it? I think you kind of did, but yeah, what it's like?
That kind of, I guess I'll start doing this. I think I'm doing it was kind of my deal. Mm-hmm. Like I said, at 18, 19, I was in that ministry training program who had a focus on drama ministry, which was why, like, I saw these young people that would come to our church and they did skits and whatnot. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do that. It's church and it's acting. It's everything in one. Let me do that. And like I said, I did that for a year and I didn't get put on the drama team. And it was just learning experience for who I am and where I fit and what I do and what I believe and all that stuff. And so I was like, oh yeah, no, I just want to act. That's what I want to do. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. And I was visiting my family who was now in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And my sister was graduating from college. And over the weekend that I was there, I happened to look at auditions. And there was an audition for the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Los Angeles. And I went to that audition and I got into the school. And so that fall, I went out to LA and I was there for a year of training. So that school is a 2-year school of class training and then a 3rd-year program that's a performance company. And they are selective in who they take in, and then they whittle you down. So there's a first-year class. I feel like there was like around 150 or so of all the first-year students, which broke down into about 10 groups of 15. And then they would ask you to come back for the 2nd year. And then eventually like 12 to 15 people would be retained for the 3rd year acting performance company. So I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah. So I was out in LA doing the things. First time really reading plays that weren't like The Donkey and the Baby in the Manger or whatever the plays were, that I did. Which, if that's not written, I'm going to put that out there.
There you go.
This is the first time, like, really getting into to Shakespeare and to getting into. I don't think I'd ever really heard of August Wilson before that. I'd only seen one play before, like in a 1st grade field trip, and so for me, like that immersing in LA was really exciting for me. It was also a realization to me being there because this program doesn't allow you to work outside of school. So there were a couple of people that, they're like, I'm hitting LA and that like would whittle, they faded away through the year because they got this random thing that they thought was going to be something or that other thing. But I was like, I'm training, I'm doing this thing. So that year ended and I was prepping to be back for a 2nd year. And my family had moved from Chicago to Minneapolis and a grandmother was sick and my mom wasn't working so that she could help take care of grandma. And like I said, growing up in a multi-generational house, we make it work. We all pitch in and we all do things. And so I didn't go back to school. I stayed home and got a job in Minneapolis. My first job was at the Mall of America, which was my favorite place on the planet at that time.
Well, was it still your favorite place after you worked there?
No, not so much. It's okay.
I want to go on roller coaster so many times, man.
Yeah, don't shit where you eat.
Man, here's the thing. I feel like I could go on those roller coasters as many times as I wanted to, but there's only so much like Midwestern tourists to like squeeze past to get. I just need a new pair of shoes. I just need shoes. I'm trying to get to the store to get shoes. That's the deal when you actually live in Minneapolis. You're like, where else can I possibly go other than the MOA if I need something? But for the time that I was there, it was wonderful. Where did I leave off on my...
coming back to Minneapolis and getting the job.
Families in Minneapolis, got a job at the Mall of America. Again, I would look at auditions because the school training that I had in that 1 year was the stuff that you do, the building of character in your process. In the second year of the program, at least when I was there, was when it really now switched into business side of things a little bit more and did a little more on camera stuff and finding representation and all that stuff. So all I know, though, was auditions were in the paper or online. So I would audition and I would start going to see plays. And in that process, I got to know other actors and I got to know other directors. I got the agency that actually I still work with oftentimes out of Minneapolis called Nuts Non-Union Talent Services. Shout out to them. And I got that because I auditioned for a play. I didn't get it, but the director was like, hey, I don't know if you like to do stuff on camera, if that's your bag, but you should call these people. They're pretty great. That's how it went. So it went from a small, play that a 2-person play in a coffee shop. And from that, getting to know the directors and the other actor auditioning for a community theater show. And then it's something a little bit bigger. And that's how my career took root. I have many wonderful friends that did, a full 4-year degree and a master's and blah, blah. But the way my life was set up was like, you're going to hit the ground running. Mm-hmm. You're going to learn as you go. And you're going to be, blessed to meet amazing people that introduce you to some other amazing people, and you may get to do some really amazing work. So that's how it has built over the years.
The audition to get into the school, the training, was that your first audition?
I feel like that was my first audition with real stakes, outside of school. And that was the first time I had to do a classical piece. So I had to do a Shakespeare. And I believe I did a piece from Shakespeare's All's Well That from Shakespeare's All's Well That Ends Well, from a character named Helena. And she was she has this unrequited love for this boy, and she's confronted by his mother about that love because he's higher born than she is. And I think I found it in a book of monologues, and I was like, I know what it's like to love a boy and him not love me back. I'm going to do this. And I did that piece. I don't remember what my other piece was, but I remember going in because I auditioned in Minneapolis. There's an amazing regional theater there called the Guthrie Theater, a huge theater. And hugely well-renowned all throughout the world of theater. And I auditioned there. And I remember somebody going oh, you're going to Guthrie to audition. And I was like, yeah, that's what it is. I didn't know. I was still so not clued in. The fact that there are folks who will be stopped before they even start because they think, well, I don't know this, or I don't know that, or I don't know these people. I don't have anyone in. I am living proof that if you just stay on your thing, if you put in time, if you put in work and you pay attention, it's not necessarily all about, I have all this knowledge before I'm doing it. My life has showed I show up and prove who I am and what I do, and I'll learn all the other things. It's not hard to learn which theater is in what city or who's the, assistant director, but it's hard to show up in truth and authenticity and sometimes just be a great person and giving in a room, and tell a whole story and not just try to outshine everybody. It's where you find that's something that I love about the theater world as I have experienced it, is that when I was little and dreaming about being an actor, it was about me being a star. Mm-hmm. Then there's actually doing the work, and it's about, I'm a part of this piece and telling this greater story and learning how to give learning how to be open, learning how to listen, and learning how so many other people's time are valuable for making this work, and experience and understanding. And I've really, really, really lucked out and have had wonderful examples of people who've been in the game, longer than that I've been able to work with. And hopefully I set up some examples of that for folks that are coming up.
I just have two quick follow-up questions about that time in your life. With the audition, do you remember what your what you were feeling before leading up to the audition, how after the audition, how you felt that it went, and then that validation, like how you felt when you were accepted? And then the flip side of it, I was wondering, like, when you had to come back home and get a normie job, like it seemed like you were already on the path and you're there, and then to have to come back, like, it's like, oh, I know how this story ends a lot of the time. Like, I had my chance, I had my shot, and now I'm back here at the Mall of America. Like, what was that?
Just trying to get a pair of shoes.
An internal roller coaster.
Just trying to get a pair of shoes. So the audition, that one, I don't remember the initial reaction, like coming out of the room. I remember being pretty nervous, and then being in the room and talking to whoever. I think it was the I don't remember if it was the dean or the VP of the school that was there, but whoever was the higher up that was there started talking about the prestige of the school. And then I really got nervous, because it was one of those, I was like, I didn't know what I was auditioning exactly for. I didn't have that skill. If it had been like Juilliard, I'd heard of that before, and I would have been appropriately nervous. But in that room, I was like, oh, okay, it's kind of, because Lucille Ball actually went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Danny DeVito came through the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. It's a big deal. Mm-hmm. It ain't no joke, right? Which I learned, like I said, by doing it, by jumping in. So I went right for that year, and it was total validation of, like, I have potential to do this thing. I'm gonna learn, and being, like I said, being in LA, even though I wasn't working, which I think actually has been beneficial in my world, to have not started working out in LA so at like 18, mm-hmm. because of thinking who I was there then. I don't know that it would have been the best for me. I think it would have been the thing of competition and comparison, and like all the thing of my body and my size, or my this or my that, and what I believe or what I don't, and what I'm supposed to. There would have been a lot in that way at that time, but it was still like actual, like it was there. I was in the place where all the things happened. So being back now in Minneapolis, not even back home to Chicago, I'm now in Minneapolis, which is really interesting to me that everybody knows that city now, for something so horrific, But at that time, it was like I think mostly when people would be like, Minneapolis? Where is that? Minneapolis? I'd have to be like, no, just one. You got too many in there. Minneapolis. So a town that didn't seem like it held much of anything for an actor. Little did I know, it's an incredible theater town. It is actually second per capita theater town, just behind New York. Wow. And amazing artists and amazing people. So, but that all came eventually. Eventually it came. The thing that was the actual real, like, hit me in the heart bummer was, so after a year of working at the Mall of America, I auditioned again. Well, no, I got a job at a theater company still in operation called Climb Theater, which is an acronym for Creative Learning Ideas for Mind and Body. And we'll go. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I got that for you. Climb Theater would go into schools and do the issue-based plays, like about bullying or about acceptance of differences or following your dreams. We do like the cafetorium play, and then we'd come into your classroom later on, and
It's the after school special.
we were that. I was
Yeah.
the living after school special. Yeah.
Oh,
Which was exciting because technically that was my first, I was fully paid to be an actor and
Mhm.
educator and school wrangler and set dresser. And like, because we would take a van and put up our set and everything and on all that. It was a little grueling, but it was also wonderful. And I think a really, really good place to start as an actor. It got me conditioned to adapt to different spaces that I was in, working with people for weeks, months at a time, close quarters. You got kind of used to that. And the clarity of like, you got a classroom of like, 80 fourth and fifth graders, and you're trying to tell a story. How are you using your body? How are you using your voice? How are you really conveying the story? Because it's not about you going to be a star at the end. It's about how are we actually going to get through all of this. Who is who?
Oh, who do you think is who?
Oh, I'm the white one.
Shut up.
He's the one that's been emailing you. I mean, can you not tell? He's the one that's been emailing you.
Yeah, I'm dirt in this story.
Okay, I won't even lie. That's what I thought. I thought
Good.
you were the one that had been emailing me, Durden.
There you go.
Because your name is Durden.
My emails would have had a certain other tone to them. Still professional though.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. You knew. Come on, you knew.
That. I knew. And I responded.
So I was profiled.
Yes.
Okay.
Accurately profiled.
Welcome to the world.
Hey-o.
We get a chance.
Oh, yes.
When
Yes.
that's not the case.
Yeah.
All right. Now let me call Candyman on you. Okay, so before we get there, now, could you? Okay, we're coming back in 3,
Well, every
2,
day,
1.
We're back.
What'd you call us? Your first film credit was 2010, a short film called Every Day, Every Day. Could you tell us a little bit about that, please?
That's actually a really, really cool short that was a part of a female filmmakers festival, the name of which I cannot remember. I was brought into it by the writer and star, who's a phenomenal actress out of the Twin Cities. And so she had this character, and she is a white woman out of the Twin Cities. She has one of these voices, though, that are crazy adaptable. It's deep, it's kind of husky. And she has a series of characters that she's used in different comedy formats and whatnot. But she stumbled upon this character that she would voice, and it was like this older blues man. And she had the idea of this film along with another incredible female filmmaker out of the Twin Cities. And she wanted just a moment of this blues man's life and his granddaughter coming to visit, bringing over some groceries and checking in on him. And what's really, really cool about the piece is that you see my character mostly. You hear and you see like a hat, and you see the silhouette of a chair, and you see a trumpet and whatnot. And it's in the final moments that you come around to see this female embodying this person after you've heard this voice and I've already, started crafting your mind who this person was. So it was just from doing workshops and again, seeing each other's work. And we had never worked together, that Michelle was like, this is a possibility. Would you be free to film this? So that was the first thing that I did that was, like a fully fleshed and created short and submitted to festivals. In the Twin Cities, what doesn't show up on my resume, like the mainstay of life after I came back from Minneapolis, didn't know how to become an actor now because I wasn't in LA anymore, dealt with the rowdy children, tried to show them they could achieve their dreams. Hopefully some of them are. I don't know.
Some of them won't. Let's be real.
Some of them won't.
We're talking to you, Robert.
That is, Angela, Angela.
Oh my! Oh!
That seemed real.
You're an actress.
And Angela, if you feel some kind of way, just explore that.
Oh, my wife's name is Angela, and I can assure you she feels some kind of way.
Yeah.
You're welcome. In the midst of doing that, I had the opportunity to audition for even more highfalutin, the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts, LAMDA. They were coming through Minneapolis for their graduate program. And I had been in Minneapolis working for about a year or so. And I went in an audition. Now, this is the audition that I think I did that Helena monologue from Shakespeare again with a little bit more understanding. And something else, I don't know what my other thing would have been, but it was the vice president of the program was there auditioning. And after my piece, he showed me what he wrote down, and he just wrote down, "She will act," and showed it to me. And I was like, that was a moment of like, truly like, okay, all right then. They wanted to accept me to their program, even though I hadn't finished the bachelor's. They said there's a year program that we want you to be a part of. And I said, well, that's fantastic. And then they were like, yes. And obviously it's in London, and it's $83 trillion to be in the program, and you have to find housing and all that stuff. So I was doing everything I could to get the student loans to be able to do that. My number one, or whoever was heading up their student loan department, broke their leg on holiday and was out for a couple months. So delayed like all of my things.
They had to go to hospital.
Wow.
I had to go to hospital.
Yeah.
I've broken my leg. I just stopped trying instead.
No.
They didn't say that, but that's what I imagined happened. That's exactly what happens if you're English and I think you hurt yourself. Oh.
Imagine that me on the telly.
Oi! Well, no, I think I went on the other side of London.
Yeah, you did.
Oh.
Crikey.
Well, since all of that got delayed, it was like a couple weeks before I was supposed to be in London and start school. All that to say, I ended up not going.
That sucks.
And it sucked. There are some times I'm like, if I'd have gone to Lambda, where would I be? But you know, life has you where it is. And there's so many things that I wouldn't trade nothing from a journey now.
Right.
That's gotta be this, like, man, like it's like you're in the first program and you have to go back home to go to work. Like it's like goddamn, like these circumstance, like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Why isn't life meeting me halfway? And circumstances keep sending me 2 steps back.
It's a thing, and it's such a real thing with so many people's lives, but so much of an artist's life, feels like that. Feels like, yes, I'm finally seen. I'm doing the thing. Nothing but clear skies. And wait a second, why am I back in my parents' house? What
am I doing on Monster.com? Why am I on Indeed? I'm not supposed to be here. This is no. My coworkers aren't on here.
It's awesome that you kept going though, and still like kept working, because it'd be so easy. Like you know, once you get your heart set on something that's like, all right, I made it to the next level, and then now all of a sudden you're back here where you're perfectly content before that possibility opened itself up is now all of a sudden not so great. So it's awesome that you stayed in practice and kept going and didn't let that deter you too much.
Yeah. Again, I think it was a benefit of being in the Twin Cities, because even like the top echelon of like stars of the Twin Cities theater world and even film world that were still within the city worked hard. Like it wasn't a matter of like, and we hit this pinnacle and then we stop and we expect things to roll in. They worked hard and tried new things and did experimental theater, or or started making their own films, and so I think that practice was instilled in me from the beginning of my career, of like, oh, that's what you do. You work hard as you're doing a thing, and you also work hard to prep up the next thing, and you keep these contacts and these relations, and you try something new, and it's not really a making it. You got to keep going. Like it's always, you always keep working and you always keep going. So that was a thing I think that was really fortunate about that, the start, stop, delay, hope, opportunities snatched away, and find a way to keep going again. And I tell young people, I have friends that that when they have talkbacks with young people, they're like, don't do this acting thing, this theater, don't do this.
It ain't what you think
it doesn't
is.
make sense. It's not fun. It's not like, and I respect everybody's journey. My take is it'll tell you whether or not you're about this life.
Right.
It'll show itself. It won't be hard. If at the end of the day, you've put in 80 plus hours on top for something that's yielding no profit, but because of what you love, or you're sleeping fulfilled, you're sleeping excited about diving into whatever this next project is, that shows itself to you whether or not this is the thing for you. Because especially theater, the hours are long and it's exhausting, and doing 8, 10, 12 shows a week. Christmas shows, meaning you're the entertainment that everybody else comes to see, so you don't see your family, and
it's something you've done for the 100th time, but you gotta do it like
you
it's the
gotta
first
find
time.
it new again. You got to bear your whole self so much in front of strangers, and do it night after night after night. And it like I said, it shows itself to you. So I say, go for it, give it a try. If you have interest, see what you like. And it may be that you do this thing and you're like, I don't want to be putting myself out here night after night after night after night, but I like being in those rooms for rehearsals. Maybe it's directing, maybe it's lighting design, maybe it's administration for a theater, because God knows I would need somebody with that know-how. I could come in on the creative side and help run a theater, but all that other things with the papers and the fundraising and the who knows what and whatnot, that's not my life. That's not my ministry. I'm not in the moment. There was something I was going to get to. Oh, in Minneapolis. Okay, so I did every day, which was so cool. That was a short that went forward and people saw. But before then, for about maybe at that time, 3 or 4 years prior, I had started doing work through internal corporate video. So Minneapolis, St. Paul is actually home to a ton of Fortune 50 companies. So Target is headquartered there. 3M is headquartered there. General Mills, Honeywell, 3M, on and on and on. And the biggest one for me, because of what it afforded me, is Best Buy. Best Buy is headquartered in Richfield, just outside Minneapolis. And I fell into being one of their 3 internal spokespeople for about a solid 8-year run, from around 2005, 6-ish till right before I left for the Oregon Shakespeare Festival Theater and started 2013. So that world was, there was a monthly sketch-based kind of SNL-like show that went out to every store of Best Buy monthly. And there were myself and 2 other incredible actors, Adam Wisner and Charles Hubble, who were the main 3. And then amazing actors from the Twin Cities would be around, amazing writers, amazing directors. There was a time that I had my own like stand-up green screen, like talk soup weekly show that went out to every store that Best Buy has. But this was all internal stuff. And like we did parodies of every major blockbuster film that was out. We had a weekend update, like news desk. And so it was amazing production quality, amazing, like, and fun on set. But it was all internal. So no one could, like, it's not, I don't have a reel with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
However, when Candyman came out, one of the first DMs that I got was from somebody from Best Buy. They're like, I've been working for Best Buy for the last like 17 years.
It's you.
And I knew that voice.
Best Buy girl.
Knew that
Best Buy
voice.
girl.
Yeah. So there was a span of time, and we were just, it's the one actor, Charles Hubble, who's incredible, did a lot of character stuff and puppetry work. So you didn't see his face as much, but myself and Adam were Christiana and Adam. So I would go into a Best Buy during that time and go to, buy headphones or a charger or whatever. And they'd be like, you could see people just like, the blue shirts were stocking, but kind of looking. And then I'd say something and then they'd really be like, and then I'd go to pay and show my ID and they'd be like, I thought that was you. That's your name. You're Christiana. And I was like, yeah.
I know one thing they didn't say. They didn't say your money's no good here. They still took your money, didn't they?
And this has been when it got fun but embarrassing. Then they'd be like, okay, so what's your discount code? And I was like, I don't. They don't give me a discount.
The what?
I was like, I should.
There's the skit right there.
As for that, that would have been good. So that sustained me as a working artist for, like I said, for about those 8 years, where I was able to get that good, sweet corporate industrial spokesperson monies. And then I was able to do theater, which sometimes pays fractions of that, right? But it kept me working solid, which was incredible, and gave me opportunity to be in front of camera with a little less stakes, because it is a transition going from stage to on camera. And, a lot of theater folks can get in and be too big and be too this and whatever, and just not have, and they can be too much and then feel like defensive about like, I'm infusing my body and my life to give this, and not respect that. Yeah, that works there, but this is a whole different medium.
Let me ask you this, and we were going to maybe jumping ahead a little bit, but I wanted to know because since you brought it up, which one do you prefer over acting? I'm sorry, stage versus film, because we've asked people that before.
I prefer over acting, to answer your question. I prefer. Okay, here's I want to do it all, and I'm doing it all. That's my plan. I prefer the fullness of the theater experience. I love it. I love that challenge. That is, how do we find something new again in this moment? And it asks you to invest in that why. Usually the why is because we have a story to tell the people who haven't told it before. So I have to show up as much today as I did 3 weeks ago. And that can be a challenge, but then that's why you're a craftsperson. That's why it's not just talent and art. That's why it is craft and practice, and it is discipline and technique that you bring into what you're doing. And I love that it's in the moment. I love that it can change. That's the other thing I love. Like you can film different takes and try different things, but the end result is going to be edited somewhere else, and it will be what it is, and it's that. And with a play, you get the chance from night to night to see where this is taking us and see what newness from this moment to that moment it may share. And and then there's an immediacy to it. I hate that it dissolves, like it's so ethereal. There have been incredible performances, incredible people that you get so tight with, and then you just go off and
I think that's what makes it so special. Is
Right.
you can't keep it, you can't relive it. This
No.
is a one-time thing that's happening in this moment. It'll never happen again. The same show might happen again, but it'll be different. And then you have the final cut. Like what the audience sees is that's
Right.
It's on you there. But film in that way that it is everlasting is incredible.
what's his name say? No, it isn't.
No, it's
No, it isn't. We shot this on Kodak. Blah blah blah. It'll deteriorate in 4 years if it isn't.
And so we talked to some guy. He was super technical. He was like MIT.
Yeah, because this
savant-worthy.
other guy was waxing philosophical. He was like, what we do is going to live on forever. And this guy leans up from his mirror. He's like, no, it won't.
It
The
won't.
film we use deteriorates in 4 years if not transferred.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Oh shoot.
Yeah,
Kill all
well,
that
I'm gonna do a
dream then.
quick
Thanks,
right
thanks,
here.
thanks for that.
2011, you worked on Stuck Between Stations, and this was with Zoe Lister-Jones. And I like her, Fawn Moscato in New Girl and Life in Pieces. And she's like a great filmmaker in her own right. What was it like to work with her?
She was really cool, as much as I can remember. That came around because awesome people that I knew were part of that filmmaking process, and former hometown boy Josh Hartnett. He's in Minneapolis. He was bringing it home to film it there. So folks he knew were part of the crew, and then I knew some of them, and they needed just this one scene. And so I came in and did this one scene, but I watched her and Sam Rosen be like real pros and real on it. Cause this was an overnight late take after take, kind of little tedious connecting little scene. And so it was really, really cool to watch. I, in my mind, could say that Zoe and I had an amazing rapport. I don't remember as much because, it was our moment was so brief in it, but I've heard nothing but cool things from the people that worked with them fully on that film. I heard nothing but like awesome reports all around, and I think the end result is charming and quiet and real, which is what I love watching. And every time I hear her, like I was just listening to WTF with Mark Maron. It's one of my podcasts that I like to throw on and walk my dog, and she was on. And I always feel a little bit like, that was like, I believe her roommate, her name was Becky. I didn't have a name. I was Becky's roommate. We worked together. And I feel like that even more now with Tiana. With Tiana Paris. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my girl. We had a little bit more time.
We tight.
Yeah.
We tight.
Yeah.
We tight.
Well, we'll definitely get into that.
Now, Stuck Between Stations was directed by Brady Kernan, who went on to become a camera technician on the Cho Bob Show, or Choo Choo. I knew it was Choo Choo. I got it. I saw the train. You didn't have to. I did that because he signaled me as if I didn't know it. I know what this is. It's a train. The Choo Choo Bob Show, a TV series which you star.
That's
All right,
not
everybody
the
get
train
one
that
in.
we're talking
Everybody-
about in the kids show. I don't want to confuse people. If they go on looking for one thing, it's the other
Come
thing.
on, ride that train.
It's not.
Ride it.
Shoot. That could be a spinoff.
Chugga, 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 chugga. Choo, choo. Okay, the Choo Choo Bob Show, a TV series which you starred in as ticket agent Cece in 2012.
Yes.
From the stills that we locked down and we did our research on and that we saw, it seems like a crazy and fun children's show. What was that production like to work on?
Oh, it was tons of fun. I had worked with a lot of the directors and writers of the Choo Choo Bob Show through Best Buy. There were a lot of the regular writers and directors from that. And actually, the Choo Choo Bob, they had filmed 1 or 2 seasons before I was on, and they always tried to incorporate me. I think there was one time they were like, "We have a character who's the mayor. Do you think?" And it was usually the theater schedule or some other scheduling conflict that I never could be a part of it. And then in that year, with this next round of scripts, they had gotten a greater investor, and they were doing big things, and so they were able to bring me in. I love that show. I think it's really fun. It's one of those. It's kind of like Pee Wee Herman a little Mr. Rogers-esque. There's like, this kind of man-child obsessed with trains.
Well, and knowing that you were inspired by I Love Lucy and shows like that, it seemed like it had that kind of over-the-topness, zaniness to it too.
It's wacky. It's fun. My nieces and nephews have watched it. Like every child that I know, I've been to the parents like, you want some Juju Mom? And get them on this. You got a school? Get them on this. Get them on this. And for a while, it was on.
I'm glad you clarified the distinction between come on, ride the train and choo choo because come on, you get on this. Get on this.
Oh, all right. You got one?
Yeah.
like the guy will lean on me that just giving the drugs to the guy from outside. Like, man, come on here, man. Come on, goodness gracious,
Went from doing after school specials to the reason that after school
specials exist.
We got product. We gotta push it. That's what.
Choo choo. I always preface something by saying according to IMDb because IMDb lets us down about 40% of the time, and that's
I think IMDb may have like an agent or somebody, a representative for me on there. Hopefully it's down now, but someone told me who my agent was, and I was like, no.
Oh, really?
No, it's not.
They're fired.
Part of me is like, that's where all those jobs
are coming from.
That's where they're not coming from. That's where they're going. Yeah. That's why I wasn't in Black Panther. They couldn't find. That's what it was.
We got them next time.
Yeah, let them know. Here's my thing. You all can't see me in person, but it's kind of evident in my longer scene with Tiana. I'm 6 foot tall. So.
All right, Dora Milaje.
Jabari Queen.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, General. Excuse Queen. I'm sorry.
That's what we need. I'm just saying that's what we need.
You see me shutting up now.
I saw, I know this isn't the movie we're talking about today, but I saw Shang-Chi and I know how he got that part. I know the Twitters helped. So let's get out there. Christiana Clark is a Jabari Queen. Black Panther forever.
Tonight I got you. I got you tonight. I'm starting it.
That's very unselfish of you.
Thank you. I don't tell her about my demons, damn it. Let her find out on her own.
He's upset with Michael B.
No,
Jordan.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not. You're not
anymore because he isn't the problem. He wasn't the problem.
Wait. Tell me.
Tell her.
Listen, while I was raising my daughter and being a great dad, and he was on the wire getting taken place, I'm sorry that I decided to be a dad. And so because I decided to be a dad first versus actor, and now he gets to date and fuck Lori Harvey, I'm not mad at him because of that at all. I'm happy in my position in life. I'm just saying my daughter's in college now, and the head starts fucking over, Mike. So I'm done. Thank you.
You did not yield.
This challenge shit over. All right, we're ready. I'm sorry.
All right, we're getting back on course here. According to IMDb, it was nearly a decade before you returned to the screen, but you were still a very busy actor on stage. Was that a conscious decision that you made, or it seems like there's a theme of like circumstantial things dictating what goes on?
That gave me like a really good chuckle on the inside because it was a decade before you returned, as if it was my choice.
You're on fire tonight, man.
So much. No, a lot of it, the circumstantial piece of it was that I was in the Twin Cities, whose film world had slowly faded away. By the time that I was there, I actually do a lot in parts of different like tax credits that went away from the state for filmmakers. So a lot of stuff went elsewhere because I didn't come to Minneapolis till like 2001. So those are gone. So there wasn't much of anything being produced as far as film world. There definitely were no TV series that were happening in the Twin Cities, but there was a ton of theater, and I was out doing that Best Buy thing. So I was busy. I was constantly working, but yeah, not on film. That was just the way that was. And I knew that if I were in another market, there would be more, but I was actually contracted with Best Buy in the years that I was there. And I would get an offer for theater, and then I'd go to them and I'd say, so this is the schedule. How does this look for what we're looking at for the next like couple months? And there were a couple things, because like I said, we'd film a monthly show, a weekly show. Then there would be like the live. If you've ever worked for any corporate, there are always like the convention for this, that, and the other thing. And it's like the regional managers and the this, that, that. So we were all hosting those and emceeing those and live and in person in Orlando and things like that. So I had to make sure my schedule was clear for those things. I did get to do like some cool things. I got to go to both E3 and CES as a correspondent through Best Buy. And both of my brothers, who at one time they were both working for Best Buy while I was a spokesperson. And it was I didn't get them their jobs. I didn't get me my jobs, but like we were all Best Buy gang. And they've always been tech savvy and big gamers. And I would go to CES and I would be like, so there's this guy. He's got a big sword. I don't know who you are, but you look great. And they'd be like, this is Cloud from Final Fantasy or something like that. I'm like, oh, cool.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like I got to do stuff like that. There was a Best Buy convention in LA that Kiefer Sutherland, Snoop Dogg, Will Smith, Slash were a part of. Like these internal corporate things sometimes are like the coolest, weirdest. James Cameron came for that. And it was like a year or so after Avatar. And there are pictures of me that an incredible makeup artist out of the Twin Cities, Chris Ballas, did full Avatar, me, full like prosthetics, full blue, but in like khakis and like a button-up sweater. I was the Best Buy version of Avatar. Why introducing James Cameron for a moment of the thing, like, and that just like random things that have been a part of my life and career that go off into the ether.
I really hope, because I'm gonna consider Best Buy theater, and I hope that this character you just mentioned is the one that you're gonna answer this question to. Of your many theater performances, and now including Best Buy, is there a particular character that stands out as the most rewarding to bring to life?
Oh my God. Okay. I thought this was going to be hard because there's a lot of great characters and incredible plays that I've been a part of. But you said most rewarding. I'm going to say it was the lion from The Wiz. Do you remember The Wiz, Durden? We talked about The Wiz.
Oh, yes. I remember.
Yeah, he's on down. I won that it was a female lion, which I hadn't really seen much before. 2, that it was an almost all Black cast. We had an incredible part of our ensemble, our dancers. What's up, Jonathan Luke Stevens, who is a white male dancer. And for a while, though, our incredible Eveline, Yvette Clark, thought that he was Puerto Rican. So she was always like, what you talking about? Jonathan ain't white.
This really was somebody I love, Lucy Taylor. Hey, the Honeymooners. Hey, Babaloo.
Yeah. So, but that was the other reason. It being a comedic role, getting to sing, getting to dance. And it was on the Oregon Shakespeare Festival Theater, which I've been a company member for the last 8, 9, even though we didn't get to do anything last year, 8, 9 years. They have 3 theater spaces and the 1,200 seat outdoor theater, which was their flagship space. It used to always be outdoors. Over the 80 plus years, they've got now 600 plus indoor and a more intimate 300 seater. But that outdoor space, the Allen Elizabethan Theater, where so many people have done classics and blah, blah, blah. This incredible group of artists, mostly Black artists, got to perform on that stage through the summer of 2016, doing this music that we all have known since like birth, right? Paying honor to the likes of Diana Ross and Nipsey Russell and on and on. And so for me, that was one of the most rewarding because of where it was, because of the characters, because of who I was doing it with.
An incredible black cast, and Jonathan.
Jonathan, yes.
Yes, a mostly black cast, and
And
Jonathan
Jonathan.
Stevens, and he would be very, very glad to be a part of it. And we were very, very glad.
From his perspective, it's like, hey, you know how good I am? They didn't even care about my
That's
color.
what I'm talking about.
One girl even thought I was Puerto Rican. I'm halfway there.
And there was nobody tried to put a natural on him or maybe something else that he wasn't.
You want to tan today a little longer? Just a little bit.
Is there a particular character that proved most challenging to get into the shoes of?
I think all of them are pretty good and challenging to a good degree. I will say that the transition of my career from random Best Buy girl and kind of a grittier theater scene of Minneapolis, not necessarily, wasn't the Guthrie. I didn't work at the Guthrie until after I went out to OSF. I worked there, but through a different theater. Like another theater's produced, their production was produced in the Dowling Theater of the Guthrie, but it was not a Guthrie production. Going from doing that, but a lot of it contemporary, a lot of it, like I said, a little grittier. The first time, though, of doing Shakespeare and developing a character within the world of Shakespeare, I would say was harder because of my preconceived idea of how that's supposed to sound or how it's supposed to look or who it's supposed to be, which was never anything that I had. You heard my journey was I was at an acting school for about a year. Then I was in Minneapolis working by doing. So whenever I would see a Shakespeare play or hear actors that I knew that did Shakespeare, it always sounded like something that, like, if you didn't already know everything about the poetry and the scanning and the history and the this and the that and the other, then like you can't even begin to be a part of it. So like it was never anything that I thought I would be doing. So I was fortunate that the first theater that I did professionally was through a company, the first Shakespeare was through a company called 10,000 Things Theater in Minneapolis. And they do productions, taking them to communities that don't have the access to come to. And that primarily is prisons, it's homeless shelters, it is detention centers, it's homes for battered women. And you would do it in a room with the lights up, like seats all in the round, kind of costumes and set were minimal. And it was real in your face and present. And so that was the first production of Shakespeare that I was in. It was a production of Othello. And I played a character named Amelia. And so all of that pretense and all of that kind of like stuffy museum, old European ideal of what it was out the window from jump. So though at the beginning it was getting the words in my mouth and making it feel real, I feel was harder than the understanding of the world of that character. But that's what brought me back. Understanding that, I'm building another character who has a real truth of like her life as a woman and her husband and circumstances and her things she cares about and the things that detest her. And these happen to be the words that they use, in doing that. So learning that, I've tried to remember that every time I've come to Shakespeare, everything, really Shakespeare can be the thing that's like a stopper from jump because it just seems so like,
yeah.
But doing that, so Othello, right, is about this Black man who is like the greatest guy, and he's a soldier, and he's just married the love of his life, and he's got this promotion, and then somebody starts lying in his ears.
Josh Hartnett.
Josh, you've come up twice. So that starts, turning things in his mind. And because he's not quite at a space to know himself and to trust his woman and to know his place, and because all this hate and jealousy is playing on him, it alters his life and the life of the people around him, and he makes horrible decisions in the end. And we're doing this in a prison, you know? So the people that would understand on a level deeper than your Oxford textbooks can tell you, you know, they're getting this world. And that had always been, for me, the most, the thing that I'm reminded, that I remind myself of why I continue to do Shakespeare. Because there's value and like the depth of character, the language is beautiful. Yes, all that stuff, but like this real human stuff that's happening through there, and it's value, and I have experienced it really being taken in on a deeper level by folks that had never had the opportunity, you know, to sit through graduate class or, you know, see 17 productions of Romeo and Juliet, like taking it in as it is. And when you have artists that are about embodying it and telling a truthful story, as opposed to showing off how well they can speak verse or how good they look in costumes, really makes all the difference for me. So yeah, jumping into Shakespeare at first was the hardest, but now every time I've done it, it's become a little bit easier, and I get to work with more and more people that have, you know, done Oxford and whatever, their MFAs and whatnot, and I've gotten to glean from them. But it's always about bringing my truth as opposed to trying to do something that they expect or what you think it's supposed to be.
Let's talk about Candyman. It is a perfect segue. You sure you don't want this? You don't want to do this one now?
No, you got it.
Thank you. Let's talk about Candyman. It is obvious from your social media that you are a strong advocate for the Black Lives Matter movement. How does it feel to be part of a film that so effectively translates the sentiments of Black Lives Matter into a well-crafted mainstream horror film, with the added bonus that it has become the first film directed by a strong Black Jabari Queen type woman to open #1 in the box office? Please tell us about it.
Oh my good Lord have mercy. We filmed this in 2019, right? When the reality of police brutality and the lives lost of young Black people, men and women, we already knew, you know, we've been living this for decades, right? But it was before it seemed like the rest of the world also had to take notice, right?
Right.
So at the time filming, for me, for the scenes that I was a part of, the fullness of it was not realized until I saw it in theaters. And I am so, so proud to be a part of this film that's not only beautiful as far as just a piece of art, but speaks so powerfully to this moment and the truth that Black folks have been living in this country and continue to live. And I think an honesty to the anger, an honesty to frustration, an honesty to the pain, but also like a strange hope of what we do with it, what we can do with it, how we can honor those that have on this plane lost to the hate and the violence, and how they're still with us as we go on. It's incredible. It's such an incredible feeling. I'm so proud, so excited, so happy to be in this film.
There's obviously strong social commentary going on throughout the whole film. It has important things to say. So I'm wondering, what does it mean? Like, when you saw it for the first time in its entirety, what did you take away from it most of all?
Oh my good Lord have mercy. Well, here's one of the things that I believe I only got to see because I went to the Chicago cast screening, which came out, I think, just the day before the official release. After the film and after the credits, there was an extra segment with Coleman Domingo sitting down with 3 or 4 practitioners within the mental health field, specifically in Black communities, and started a little bit, because it's a lot. I am one that through this, you know, through 2020, so impacted by the reality of life, and then in taking it to wanting to take in and support Black artists, took in Lovecraft Country and them and all of these things that are so hard as anyone, I would imagine, but I can only speak as a Black person, so hard to watch, so hard, so beautiful, but just painful. And so afterwards, with having Coleman sit and talk with people and taking a couple different scenes and talking about, you know, the cyclical nature of things, of poverty and violence, the consistency of overextension of police force within our communities and all that stuff. To me, that was actually the most rewarding, besides also my younger brother watching it with me and like shouting out and seeing my name and seeing my face up on the screen. Like just that alone was wonderful. But that greater like thing that's bigger than me, remember, because I'm not just about me being a star, I'm about telling our whole story and all that stuff that I said and I meant it. Was that I saw a film that didn't use our trauma and use the violence. It showed it, and it knows that we can't just rip scabs off of our wounds and then wonder why we're not healed, right? Mm-hmm. It offered a little something to me that said, okay, now what? And now what? And where can we take this?
Where does the conversation go?
Exactly.
Like you, Nia DaCosta's first credit is also in 2010. Also like you, Candyman was her second feature film. What was she like to work with?
She is the coolest person I've ever worked with, I think. And I've worked with a lot of cool people. She so knows what she wants. She has such an incredible eye. It's no extemporaneous, no BS, no filler. Like she was about like truth and letting it be. So the reason I'm in the film is because she was in Chicago to start auditioning. I was doing a Shakespeare play called The Winter's Tale at the Goodman Theater. She came to see the show and then said to the casting director, I want to see this person, bring this person in to audition. And then I auditioned and then I got the role. Oh. So like that alone says so much about her, the value of art and the value of people, like for her to see me and be like, that one.
That goes back to what you were saying too about when you're doing 200 performances, even if it's the 150th performance, you don't know who's sitting in the audience. It's their first time seeing. It could be Nia DaCosta.
Yes, and lucky for me, it was. Yeah. So she was just like so cool and so easy and like so on top of it. Awesome. I loved working with her and would work with her 10,000 times over if I could.
In the movie, you played Danielle Harrington. It's a brief but strong performance. To me, Danielle Harrington seemed like kind of like a representation of an opposing force in some way, like not good, not bad, but just she could change the direction of the lead characters. And there was. Who was Danielle to you, and how did you prepare for that character?
You know what? It was really a great coincidence that at the time that I filmed, I was doing a play at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival called How to Catch Creation. And in the film, I was playing a painter and art and a professor. So like that academic world of art, I had already done research in with building her. Right. Mm-hmm. So then you just take that to accelerate it, out of academia in the not-for-profit world. But I have spent, especially as a theater artist, a lot of time with moneyed people who work with artists on a different level of how they see and displaying and curating and who their clientele is. So that thing about her, right? That is, you can see and appreciate the up and coming and the struggle, but because of what it can bring to this other echelon of people, that I allowed my inner bougie to take flight.
It took flight all the way.
I loved how she said,
you did such a good job because I hate her, but I like you. You did that good of a job.
Like what made me like look at her suspiciously was when she said, it was almost like it came off kind of manipulative when she was like, you change the system from the inside. And we all know, like, once you get into the inside, you don't change the system changes you. So, and
because you're not going to be inside for very long.
Yeah. So for you playing that character, when you say that line, is that something that your character really believes, or is that just manipulating, trying to get what she wants?
I don't see why it has to be one or the other, and that's how I have how I approached her. That everything she she knows how it is in a smaller smaller venue where you're not able to really focus on the art. You're trying to keep the lights on and you're trying to get things out so you can get paid, so you could possibly do something next month. And I know how that is for you. You don't want to do that anymore. All that's honest also lives in this space of, but if I could get you.
The thing with your dad and your boyfriend, you would just be so good, or you just want the fucking drama. You don't want me, you want the drama. My dad killed himself, and my boyfriend's fucking going crazy. Like, I didn't like her, but again, and that's when I didn't know she was 6 feet tall. At the dinner, I just thought you were sitting up. I'm like, what is she doing? Like, look how perked up. I'm like, oh, she is tall. Okay, so yes, it's because you saw the scene. They went back like, whoa. You better do what she says while she crushes her or something.
The beauty, and like I said, the no extra, no pretense, no, like wanting the honesty. I remember Nia in that scene, and that was the first scene that was shot. That was actually day zero of the film. It was supposed to start, but because the times allotted for us to shoot in that museum pushed it up. So that was the first thing shot. Again, me in this first big film, riding in the van over to the venue with Tiana Paris, who have been watching, for years, and her just being so cool and so much shorter than I was. I was doing a lot more like coming to her when I was talking, and Nia would come back. Nia was like, no, stand. That's doing everything. Yes, be who you are. Don't come to her. Stand. You're making her come to you, and it's exactly because she knew what she wanted and what it was supposed to look like, telling the story visually as well as with the words.
And you've been preparing for, like, I love that shot because it's just this long take that is crawling in, and I can only imagine, like, oh, this is going to be one take. We're not cutting. Can you handle that? I do, like, a whole show in one. There's no cut.
But that was going to be my question for her. What was that learn? Because, I mean, you're doing theater. She saw you. Hey, like, I need you. I want you now. What was that adjustment period like, going right back from theater to jumping in front of the camera?
Well, it's funny that you say from doing theater one night to then being in front of the camera. It was literally that. I was at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival doing How to Catch Creation, wonderful play by Christina Anderson. It's a fantastic playwright. Anyway, I believe my first day, because I filmed 2 separate days, I believe I had a performance of How to Catch Creation that Sunday night. Monday is the theater day off. Flew to Chicago from Oregon, which is always a connection, because it's a little town, Ashland, Oregon, that I'm coming out of. Then getting into Chicago, getting to my brother and parents' house, my folks driving me over to set. We shot overnight. Then the next day, getting back on the plane, back to Oregon, and I believe there was a matinee the next day.
Wow.
So I was living that. And then the same, I think the second day of filming, which was about a month later. Bye, doggy.
What she said earlier, you'll find out pretty soon whether you're cut out for this or not. And clearly you are.
Right. And I loved it. Right. I was crazy exhausted, but I loved it. And I remember in the little Sprinter van from HQ over to set, and talking with Tiana for a little bit, telling her, oh yeah, well, we just, curtain came down at like 11 or whatnot. And then I was able to catch the flight at 6 and now I'm here. And then right as we're done, and she was just like, ooh, Lord have mercy for you.
I just want to act. I just want to film.
So yeah, and I believe it was the reverse on the next month, that day of filming, where I think I got on a flight, filmed, and then was right off of the plane in like an hour or so later on stage.
Wow.
So each of your scenes were shot, took one day to shoot.
Literally August 9th and September 9th.
Wow,
Which was really, really cool that it worked out that I didn't have to miss a show. That was the big thing for me in that moment of like, well, I'm doing this, but I would rather not have to have an understudy in. Now the understudies are fantastic because they do the thing and are at the ready. And there was an amazing actress who would have stepped in for me, but she was also in the show. So it would have shifted everything. And that's just a lot on people. And I was really, really glad that it didn't have to happen.
Even though it was only 2 days you're on set for, whether it was in front of the camera or outside the camera, maybe a conversation between you and Tiana, what was your favorite memory from the production of Candyman?
It was also cool because it was also fast and it was also like real. Like the people were the best of the best. The makeup and hair trailer is always like one of the favorite places. Partially for me is because I believe all of at least everyone that touched my body was an all black hair and makeup crew. And they were incredible. So many people of color that were a part of the whole filmmaking process, not just the actors on stage. And that was really, really cool. Really, really cool to me. I think maybe my favorite part, besides just literally action and doing the thing, was I was talking a lot of theater with one of the other actors, Carl. He's in the dinner scene, that first scene when Danielle and Brianna are introduced. He was in that scene. Though I think there weren't any lines from him in the version that ended up in the film, but we were all there. And Yaya filmed on that day. And I remember on our lunch break, Carl and I were at a table, talking theater or whatnot. And Yaya came and sat down. He had to be in preparation constantly, because of everything that was asked of him. So I remember trying to have a little chit chat, and he really kind of wasn't having it, not in a rude way, but just like a thing or two, an acknowledgement. But Carl said something about, I don't remember which fraternity, but Greek life from HBCU, and he was like,
he snapped out of it. What's up, bro? What's up, bro?
That was fun in its way of like watching that. And
one time,
because I've never been in.
Me neither, but that's.
But I love it. I love it, and I love how much life it lives in people that.
Hey, they live that.
Anything. I got one of my cousin Valerie Baptiste, Pink and Green girl. She is all day long with her sorority life and her sorors. I can't even say that.
Sorors.
That's hard. Sorors. Dirty.
Nope, I don't know. Go ahead.
I feel singled out. I thought it was really cool.
I just wanted you to say sorors.
Oh, sorors. Sorors?
Not Star Wars.
Soros. Soros.
I feel so bad for Jonathan.
Oh.
This ain't got nothing. No, wait. No. That has nothing to do with your racial or ethnic background. It all has to do with Greek life. Sorors is equal opportunity from wherever you pledged.
You're losing him right now. It's like he's watching sports or something. He's flailing. He has no idea what's going on. Yeah, he's flailing.
Yeah, I'm way outside of my lane.
Okay, it's good that you know. I love that. Because some people like to pretend that. Don't pretend. Be like, I don't know. Know thyself.
Yeah, I know. I may not be proud of who I am, but I've accepted it.
And that's all that it takes. That's all it takes.
You about to make me spit in my coffee. That's hilarious to me.
I saw I didn't know if you knew this, but the dress that you wore, that black and white dress, is like I saw it was in an auction on a website. It was like, this is the dress that Danielle Harrington wore in.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I'll
I'll send you the link after. I'll see if I can find it again. It was already sold. I can't remember what it sold for.
So were you going to bid on it?
I mean, I have no use for a dress.
Then why were you looking at it?
I was researching the episode.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. You check that out later on. This is a conversation for another time.
Thank you.
That is so cool.
And weird because you knew nothing about it. You need to find that.
Nothing about it. I would have like signed it or something. I don't know. All the outfits. Oh my.
Oh yeah. Oh, wardrobe was.
The wardrobes for everyone, start to finish. Just
I believe we call that a total slay. A total slay. A massacre.
Total. And our costume designer has a cameo.
Really?
Where is he at?
She.
He. Them.
Okay.
She. Okay. So we just got monetized. We gotta be very careful about what we're doing.
Been fun, YouTube.
Where did that human play?
There you go. Our human costume designer cameos in the film at the laundromat.
Oh, is it the lady? The lady that like.
And what was so fun was, like I said, I saw it at the Chicago screener. So everyone in the audience lost their mind.
Yeah. That's awesome.
See her. And like I said, I was long gone by the time they had filmed that, so I didn't know. So it was a cool surprise.
Awesome.
Yeah. She had me dressed. I loved it all.
She did.
That was the perfect cameo for her.
It was.
Because she's like, I don't care about what's going on behind me. I'm focused on the clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was her world.
Let me ask you this here. As an actress you kind of touched on this earlier, but I want you to give, if you can put it into one piece of advice. As an actress yourself who's performed on stage, television, independent film, and a big studio production, what is the best piece of advice you can offer aspiring actors?
Ooh, the best piece of advice I would offer to aspiring actors is live life and you bring your life to your art. That is to say, every bit of experience and hobby or skill or knowledge that you have is what you bring to develop these characters. It's not, don't pursue the work alone at expense of your life, because you need life experience in order to do this and to do it well. And you also just want that for the fullness of life. Like, as great and as wonderful as it is, like I said, to sit there and see myself on screen, it means even more that I'm sitting next to my brother, that I'm able to experience this with him. It means even more because I know that folks can take this and I can start a dialogue about trauma, about the Black experience and my own experience of life. I'm able to bring, onto screen so that other people are able to see humanity. You're right, because that's what we really, that's what we do. It's literally Shakespeare that we hold the mirror up to life. So live
Just
life.
don't say Candyman 5 times when you hold that mirror up.
I would never.
Right.
People think they're cute. People think it's funny. Not in my presence.
He thought this shit was funny earlier.
What did I think was funny?
You said Candyman. He said it in the mirror like four. I had to jump out of the fucking shot because I didn't. Hey, Black people don't need to be summoning shit.
What I told him was if I summoned Candyman into this room, he would have nothing to worry about. I'm the one.
I don't know that.
I don't know his life.
Right. You're not that innocent, are you? I've been getting better at the voice. It's coming now. See, it's coming. The fucking voice is coming. Go ahead.
Done.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wanted when you talk about like the trauma and everything, I think that's that was one of the coolest aspects. Somewhere I'm going back to Candyman for 1 second. That was one of the coolest aspects of the movie to me, was dealing with how trauma, if there's not a constructive outlet provided to exercise trauma that's being harbored, it will manifest itself in a destructive way.
Yeah.
That was
a message that was in there. I mean,
yeah.
It was, me and him did liken it to, I know you've seen the movie Us, and we were just saying that even this is Jordan Peele, well, he's one of the writers, and it's his production company. But we're like, man, don't you notice the similarity between this and Us, that the demon was almost in the mirror, because there's that scene where he's looking, it's like he's becoming Candyman. Oh shit, like do you see the parallels of this thing here, man? Look deep into your soul, man. So yeah, it was, yeah.
It's so rich, right? Mm-hmm. And it's so full, and it's levels on levels, man. Levels on which
levels, man. Jerry, levels.
Levels, Jerry. Levels.
Yes.
I've been watching a lot of comedians in cars getting coffee as well lately, and so
he can't make it through one episode without a Seinfeld reference.
It's okay.
Oh, great! I'm glad we found one.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. I'm smiling now.
But it's like it's on the surface, because that's also how we experience it as blatant, as losing your life on the street for just being Black, or being called straight out of your name, or whatever the experience it is. We also experience, right, on that micro level, and experience it within, right, within our own community. And I think Jordan in writing, and Nia, and everyone involved in the filming of this production, and helmed by the incredible Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Tiana Paris, have done so much to tell this story on all those levels, right? And you seeing it again, even for me, revisiting the scenes with Danielle Harrington in context of the whole thing, does it really like reverberate of like, I can't believe how could she, how dare she, right? Mm-hmm. All of that, which, like it's so cool, right? Just to see and which is like the best kind of movies are all of that at once, but also just being like so cool, like it's so very cool, true. And all this out there,
we have two more questions. This one's we're gonna lighten it up a little bit before we go. This is something that we ask every guest. Like, if you were locked in a room for a year, what movie would you bring with you? Because we're not looking for like the movie that you think is like the best crafted or anything. Like, what's your comfort film? What's your go-to movie?
Man, I've been thinking about this. I've gone around and around and around a year. See, because here's the thing, and I shouldn't preamble it, but I'm gonna. Like, I don't want to just cry for a year, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to laugh, and I'm gonna have to laugh. Also, want to feel good and feel inspired. Is how I feel. So, all right, you're gonna get an answer, and the answer is coming at your face right now. That answer is right now. Right now.
I feel like I'm talking to you right now.
I know. That's why I'm not saying anything. She's getting it together, man. Let her get it there, all right?
I really love a lot of different movies for a lot of different reasons, right? I would say, though, right now, it would be... I'm like, oh, what's also like a cool answer? It would be Black Panther. It would be Black Panther right now.
There we go. There's never a wrong answer.
It's never wrong. It's never wrong.
Ever wrong. You're laughing. It makes you feel good.
I get to see all these beautiful people.
Yes.
Oh my! Just the scene between Denai and Lupita after.
You're preaching to the choir here. He loves Lupita. He loves. Okay.
I have met Lupita, and she's even more gorgeous in person.
Oh man,
my wife has given me permission. That's the one. That's the one woman out there that if the opportunity ever presents itself,
I didn't want to break this to you. She believes that will never happen, which is why she gave you that hall pass.
See, here was my question to that. what if you go out of your way to make the opportunity? Is it still a pass?
Why do you think he's still writing films every other week? He's trying to.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So before we actually do say goodbye, it could be a song, a quote, or
Peter's
just a
phone number.
Please don't. Or a statement. Is there any parting words you would like to share with ours? It used to be yours, it used to be ours, and that's collectively all of our audience. Is there anything you would like to share?
Oh my goodness. I would like to share. I would like to share that Black Lives Matter beyond just the way of we live in trauma and then what? They matter in the mundane. They matter in the day-to-day. They matter from a boardroom to a classroom to your grandma's basement. They matter and the stories matter. And I think the more offering and opportunity we have to show Black life as it is in all its dimensions, the better we all will be for it. The more beauty and love can be out there.
I just realized her shirt is, at first it was just 100% love, but now it's 100% Black love because there it's in black. Yeah.
I would like to pretend that I knew that.
See, are you a Virgo?
Illuminated that. What?
Are you a Virgo? Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Well, wait, we're spirit animals. I don't know why, but it's telling you that right now. We are spirit animals.
Yeah, it's getting weird.
Not for me. Christina, I just want to tell you, literally, it's been a pleasure to speak with you. We interview a lot of people, and sometimes there is truly an interview, and then sometimes it's truly a conversation. And this was really a great conversation. Even if the cameras weren't rolling, I was glad that we had this conversation. So I want to thank you for taking your time out.
Yeah.
I've been so looking forward to this, and I agree. This was just a good old time. It was wonderful to talk.
Thank you so much, Christina. You want to say thanks again?
Yes, thank you very much. I was serious about Lapita. Just let me know about that number or email address.
All right, we're about to get canceled.
Thank you very much, Christiana. We really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Have a great night.
Oh my God, have a great night. Mwah!